Welcome back, everyone. This is Prophet of the Constitution, and we are preparing, I would say continue, but almost to finish our Subsidy Troops playthrough for the British Crown and Hanover on Master of Command. Alright, we just defeated enemy HQ number 1 for Act 3 last turn. We did it ahead of time. This is the first time I've ever done that. The enemy HQ is supposed to attack on day 200, and we defeated it around day 174. I do not know if the second headquarters, which is over yonder here, is going to make a beeline for us, or if they're going to sit there and wait. We are going to see about visiting a few places and see what happens, I suppose. Alright, let us continue. We're going to force march, just in the event that we need to. Hopefully our boys will recover fairly well. I forgot, I believe we are already here. They wanted a reserve officer for a cav regiment. We're not doing that. Alright, let's see. Where else do we need to visit? We don't want the supply cache. Many of the towns are burned to the ground. Wonderful. We're going to go west here. I'm just going to see what happens. I believe they're sitting there. I don't believe they're going to come after us until day 200. That's very interesting. Like I said, I've never done that before. Alright. Another outpost. Fantastic. Take a look here. Low on ammo. And, we can get the special. Guaranteed outpost success. Repulsed. Not too bad. These muskets here are fantastic. They're grenadier muskets. And, very interesting that I gave these grenadiers carbines. That's that was an oversight on my part. Very interesting oversight on my part, actually. That's pretty hilarious. To be honest with you. So I'm gonna fix that. They need proper rifles. Fantastic. They only have good instead of excellent. Potsdams, that's wonderful. These are all Jaegers for the Hanoverian troops. So we do not need Potsdams for them. Let's take a look here. Yeah, we're going to put the carbines on our cavalry, that is for certain. That's pretty funny. What's that? 15 and 19. Those are 15 and 22, so we know how to do that. Alright. Hello, cavalry. They've all got Tulas. Alright, fantastic. That's good enough. Let's head on over here some more. Run out the clock, so to speak. Winter is coming. Fantastic. Here we are. Stable. I don't really need any of that stuff. We can begin selling some things that we don't need. $175, eh? Staff College. The charge might be nice. Let's check our grenadiers. Yeah, we can use one of those. $62. Alright. Not too bad getting some money here. Not sure that we're going to have a chance to utilize most of it, but that's not too big of a deal. Oh, they only have 222 here. Let's not go crazy. Quartermaster has a little bit more. Fantastic. Alright, let's check. That's interesting. Let me make sure that everything is cooperating here. It doesn't want to let me click on these anymore. That's pretty funny. Okay. Fantastic. Crisis averted. My apologies, everyone. Funny, I got a new mouse and decides it wants to act funny. 76. I can tell you've already been here. Don't need land pattern carbines. Don't need any of that. Fantastic. Alright, so we didn't get to sell everything, but that's not too big a deal. Check out the noble estate again. I don't believe there was an officer here we wanted. Alright, so let us explore down here, see if we can find anything. Maybe a fort or something. We've been through most of this territory already. Ah, yes. Enemy headquarters. Fantastic. Now that's a curious thing. If we encounter the headquarters and we do battle with them, is it possible that we'll have to do 2 headquarters plus the headquarters reinforcements? That would be very interesting indeed. Again, I've never tested that before. I don't know exactly what happens when you do that ahead of time. So, I just got that. Why would I do that? But yes, that's something I've not tested before. That's very interesting. Alright, we'll get a little bit more food real quick. Not that we're in dire need or anything. Oh, another enemy army. Let's go get them. Let's see. Grenadiers. More grenadiers. So 3 grenadiers. Fantastic. Fusiliers with some veteran musketeers. Another fusilier. Musketeers. And of course plenty of Cossacks. Let's see how we do. Go ahead and take care of this army and then we'll proceed on to slaughtering the headquarters. Now, it wasn't clear. I don't think that was the text for the reinforcing headquarters. So we may end up fighting the headquarters a second time. In which case, we'll also fight the reinforcing headquarters. That would be very interesting. Alright, not too bad of terrain, not too fantastic. Gonna take up position again near this town in these woods. Definitely the best position to take. Move everybody up here. Set up the cavalry on the right flank. Per usual, I like to stack the flank that we choose for the cavalry. Set up the Hanoverians here on the left flank. Keep the grenadiers in the rear somewhat for reserve. Got the general. Deploy here. Gonna order the guns forward first. Don't know if they'll make it to that hill in time. We may have to set up inside the city. That's fine. It's not really a big deal. Totally alright. Move the cav over, and here we go. Let's see how we do. Alright, go to speed. Don't have to wait forever. Alright. Moving up in columns. Let's see what kind of artillery they've got for a moment. Alright, iron. Ah, Geschwindigstück. That's dangerous. And bronze 6-pounder. Okay. Interesting. These Cossacks are pretty dangerous. Pretty dangerous. Well, they have more guns also that are trying to go after our cavalry. Alright. Get everything set up here and see how we do. Set up across the front of the hill there. I'm going to start deploying lines, considering that their guns will soon begin attacking us. That's a grenadier. Sometimes I forget how quickly my grenadiers move. Most definitely a thing. Come on, guns, let's go. Check out the cavalry that they've all moved to their positions. Keep moving them up. And we are going into line because that was a lot of casualties. 70 casualties already. Go into line. Everybody start going to line. Except the grenadiers for now. Maybe we'll do the grenadiers also. I'm not particularly fond of them getting blown to pieces. Not particularly. The artillery is not making it to the hill. Instead, the artillery is setting up right down here. I want them firing on the enemy as rapidly as physically possible. Not interested in allowing them to shell us and not returning the favor. We're very kind people. We must return the favor. Absolutely rude not to return fire. Ooh, yeah, they're getting hit pretty hard. Grenadiers at the ready. I'm gonna move them to the right flank. Artillery is in position. Sort of. I want them to adjust it a little bit though, so they can fire better. Unlimber them. Move the general to the front, where he can encourage the men. Guns are preparing themselves. Fantastic. Moving the left wing. Alright, get the cavalry up here in position. Fantastic. The artillery is opening fire. Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Just what I wanted. Alright, they will move up on the double. Gonna come up here for a flanking position. I've got them up here to join battle against the enemy, but we're going to pull back once they get in the woods. I'm not keen on firing on them in the woods where they can get a bunch of cover. Not real excited about that at all. These observation fusiliers are hopefully going to get absolutely decimated. Fantastic. They have Cossacks here. They have guns here. Our cav is about to move in. Alright, Grenadiers, move up. Here we go. A few of their units already shattering. Fantastic. Moving up the flanks. Their Cossacks thought it would be hilarious to try to move against our men there, and that did not go well for them. They received fire from multiple cavalry units. Destroyed their artillery. That's beautiful. We have some infantry moving up to face our men here. They do so like sending a few to go after the cavalry, don't they? Alright, we're going to go ahead and countercharge them. And we broke them. Fantastic. And I do believe we're getting hit by canister from somewhere. Maybe not. Alright. Gonna move the grenadiers up here. They're gonna countercharge the enemy. And our cavalry is being shot to frick by their musketeers. That's not something that I want. That is a very displeasing thing to me, actually. Order every unit of cav to charge. That was nasty. They did hit some of our line cavalry in the flank. That is not good. That is pretty bad. Charge them in against the artillery. Taking fire from the enemy here. Going to deploy rapidly. And soon they will be annihilated. That will be wonderful. Alright, the Grenadiers succeeded over here. We're going to keep moving the grenadiers up. Cav is going to pull off. And Cav is moving up here, getting away from the enemy as quickly as physically possible. Just double check they're not running like crazy. Artillery still hammering the enemy. Fantastic. Oh my goodness, they are decimating them. Fantastic to see the artillery do that. That's wonderful. Moving out of the way, charging the enemy, and they completely shattered instantly. Wonderful. Very good battle. Well, for us. Not so much for them. Alright. Pretty good stuff. That Folard is better than some of the other ones we have right now. Definitely need to recover the cavalry some. But yeah, as you can see, the Folard does charge 10, move speed 6. This is charge 12 minus to accuracy. Now, the minus to accuracy doesn't bother me with grenadiers. The thing is, I'd rather have the 10 charge, so minus 2 charge from the 12, and the plus 6 move speed. That plus 6 move speed is just phenomenal. For only a loss of 2 charge. That's pretty good. That's definitely very good. Alright. See if we can find anything else. That headquarters is coming at us. And here they are. Fantastic. Interesting. 7 grenadiers. Wonderful. They have 6 cavalry, because they have 2 cuirassiers as well. 3 Russian field artillery batteries. Looks like 5 musketeers and 2 fusiliers. And another field artillery. Alright. Let's do this. Let's destroy this headquarters army. And we will discover if this is the reinforcing headquarters army, and maybe we bugged it out or something and got the wrong text, or maybe I'm just flipped and that was the correct text. Or we have another headquarters army to fight. This should be interesting. Not exactly opposed to it. It works out for us. Alright, let's see. We're going to set up over here, and they have so many men. Their army is vast. Wow. That's not bad. Their equipment's pretty good. Geschwindigstücks, that's wonderful. And then some crap. Okay. I believe we're going to try to cross that river as fast as possible. I believe we can do it just because of the number of forces that they have. I do believe we're going to try it. I do believe that is the play here. I'll accept the cavalry. And keep the cavalry out here. Alright, guns, let's do this. Let's get up here. Tell the units to get up to the bridge. Alright. Get to the cavalry. Tell them to flank around the enemy. Wonderful. Ah, yes, tell the general as well. That's usually a good idea. Keep the general with the men. Alright, you're already there. Make sure the artillery gets across there as well. That's very, very important. Alright, we'll send the Hanoverians up north. Send them here. Grenadiers up here. General right here. Artillery needs to keep moving. And they have some of their artillery advancing forward, actually. Or should I say all of their artillery advancing forward? That's pretty hilarious. Some of their guns are already preparing to fire on our men. That's not excellent, but it is what it is. Bring our cavalry across. I don't know that they're going to get over there before we have to fight their infantry, which is somewhat suboptimal, of course. Go ahead and set up here in line formation since we are under fire by the enemy. Absolutely. Fantastic. Not too bad. These lines are forming up fairly well here. Keep this unit in reserve. Well, let me do them up here. Set up the grenadiers here. Get the artillery ready right here. And set up the general back here as well. Fantastic. Everyone knows what they're supposed to do now. Wonderful. Cavalry, are you going to be able to get those guns before the infantry makes it there? Let's find out. Because they're shifting their whole line to try to stay in formation to meet us. So we may yet have a chance to get their artillery. Ooh, their artillery is doing a number on our Hanoverian troops. Alright. It's alright, we're getting there. We're getting there. Enemy infantry is advancing on us, however. We have one shot at this, and one shot only, pretty much. This is going to be it. This is going to determine the situation. Dragoons, get out of there. Royal Horse Guard, go ahead and engage the enemy. Take them out. Go ahead and join them now. Fantastic. Alright, stop that. I have an idea. How about you stop that? That's a great idea. It's a brilliant idea. I really think that you should listen. We are getting charged, actually, in the flank. That is very, very bad. We got caught unawares by some Cossacks on the flank. And it looks like they've set up a very disastrous situation here for us. We have forced a retreat. Alright, the only way to win this is to join our cavalry forces together in the charge. This is looking very rough. The 1st Dragoon Guards have been attacked in the flank. Some of our troops are being attacked by enemy infantry. Very, very dangerous. Man. Alright, boys, keep pushing. We have one chance to get the enemy artillery. I really prefer to do that. Alright, get the frick out of there. Enemy cavalry is approaching. That's not good. Group up together and fight them. It's not good. Hanoverian cavalry is getting hurt very badly. Alright. That's not good. They got to get out of there right now. Right away. Okay, are our guns ready? I think we might have to call them ready and forget about the hill because we need some fire support downrange as soon as physically possible for our cavalry. That is looking very, very bad. And they are getting charged. That is very bad. Alright, countercharge to cover the retreat. Alright, fantastic. Everybody keep retreating. Keep up the retreat. We got most of the guns and most of their cavalry. We actually outmatched the Cossacks for most of this. We need our boys to get going. We need the guns to fire on these cuirassiers in particular. We have got to get our cavalry out of here. Fantastic. Come on. Keep firing on the enemy cavalry. Protect our lines. They're close to being in the zone of friendly troops. Continue firing on the enemy cavalry guns. I don't care if they go outside your range. Open fire on them again. Protect the retreat of the cavalry at all costs. Alright, boys, prepare to open fire. Fantastic. That was a good volley. Protect the cavalry. Well, okay. They got them to retreat. Fantastic. Cavalry, prepare to go back over here. You are going to be doing a full retreat past our lines. That was daring. That was a daring attack by our cavalry. Perhaps some might say somewhat foolish. I would agree. We dealt a massive blow to the enemy, however. And all of our cavalry survived, none shattered. I will reluctantly call that a victory. At least as far as that part was concerned. Alright, folding the line back over here. Getting the cavalry to a safer position. Trying to make sure their other battery of artillery can't hit them either. Fantastic. They're bringing their men over. We do have the control of the river. Superior firepower here in the center. It's wonderful. Hardenberg Hanoverian musketeers are getting hammered by enemy artillery, however. Fantastic. We're doing excellent here holding this river. That's wonderful. Alright, move them up some. Now they can return fire. Fantastic. That's going to be devastating to the enemy. Alright. Soon they'll be in range up here. And we're firing. Fantastic. Shattering them as they cross the river. Beautiful. Wonderful job, soldiers. My men are fighting very hard right now. They are doing excellent work. The enemy Cossacks are making a last-ditch charge into our men. Brave, but foolish. Our old friends. Yes. Alright, we're moving back some to get more effective volleys on the enemy there. I'm going to order the artillery to aid them in that fight. Do not believe we need aiding in the other fights, although these guys do not need to fire at them. Alright, the Grenadiers are going to go across. The time of the Grenadiers has come. They've received a volley. Going across, hopefully they'll hit them before the next volley arrives. And they will not. They will receive a volley. Not fantastic. Not the end of the world, however. Charge. Alright, we're going to order the men to pull back. Sending in some more Grenadiers. Pull back the other Grenadiers, as they are now coming into line of fire of the enemy. Getting shot at. They did a volley. Fantastic. Charged the enemy. Broke the enemy. Pulling back. Man, our guns are just absolutely demolishing their troops. This is just killing fields. Down here, that so many Russians have died. It is savage battlefield. Dead litter the grounds everywhere. Alright. Reform the Grenadiers. Preparing them for battle. Continue the fire from our guns. Order the grenadiers in to charge once more. Gonna order our guns to do counter battery finally, as I believe our troops have this battle in the bag as far as the enemy infantry. Fantastic, and they do. Wonderful. Warming up the grenadiers. The enemy guns are retreating now. We're going to move back with our Hanoverian troops as the enemy prepares to come at us. Issuing a volley, won't matter, and they got decimated. Fantastic. And we won the day. Wonderful news. Our cavalry was the most mauled. That daring assault into the center of the field to attack the enemy guns and cavalry getting swarmed by enemy cavalry in the process, that was epic. Epic. Perhaps somewhat foolish, but it was epic. Our cavalry were brilliant. Fantastic work. I'm going to recover their casualties, however, just in the event that we have to do one more headquarters battle. Alright. Artillery commander. Final ability. Let's do it. Let's let it be a good ability for artillery. Morale, accuracy, yep, accuracy. That's great. What a way to end off his career for this campaign. That's phenomenal. Absolutely something that we wanted to see. Absolutely brilliant. Alright. And that was it, guys. We won the campaign. Subsidy Troops, British Crown and Hanover. We did it on Ironman with 5 modifiers. Victorious. Glory to the British Crown and Hanover. The war concluded in Brandenburg, where the Russian Empire was cast down in the decisive struggle in the Battle of Landsberg. Fantastic. Not sure why the end screen seems to be going off somewhat here. I'll have to double check that later. Continue. Alright, total campaign score, 689, 558. 584 days survived, 82,262 money earned. The 5 modifiers for 50%. Total casualties inflicted on the enemy forces, 273,596. Total casualties suffered by our army, 54,119. Those are beautiful numbers. Fantastic. 44 battles fought, 44 battles won, 0 battles lost. Biggest battle was Otterndorf, 9306. Most men in a battle, 39,750. Fantastic. Regiments. The Schaumburg-Lippe Artillery, most valued, 3025. Our line cavalry of Hanover had the highest kills, 30,327. Highest losses come from the Schlotheim Grenadiers of Hesse, 5875. Royal Horse Guards had the highest morale at 91. Fantastic. All right. And our Gotham Musketeers of Hanover had the highest accuracy of 119. Fastest reload, of course, was one of our Brunswick regiments. It was our Life Regiment. Fantastic. 102. That is insane. Ruckersfeld Grenadiers of Hesse, highest charge, 135. And our line cavalry again of Hanover had the highest melee, 118. Fantastic. Officers. Of course, von Wutgenau, starting officer, 43 battles won. Very interesting. I think he was a starting officer. 43 battles won. We won 44. Interesting discrepancy there, though I do know we lost a few of our beginning officers. Next longest serving general was O'Hara, 40 battles won. Then Skelton, 32 battles won. Otway with 26, and Baum with 15. Respectively, von Wutgenau, 70,248 kills with 15,415 losses. That is wonderful. 80,134 versus 18,932 for O'Hara. Skelton, 28,687 to 98,18. And Otway, 50,301 to 61,53. And Baum, of course, has very, very low losses, being the artillery commander, but 23,982 kills and 75 losses. Fantastic. All right, everyone, that concludes this campaign for Subsidy Troops. I have decided which army that we're going to do next. Obviously, the new update just launched, new free LC, DLC, basically, with the Holy Roman Empire. We are going to be playing as the Holy Roman Empire next, and I believe the first army that is available is the Christ Contingent. That will be the next campaign we do. I'm not 100% certain on the details yet. It will most likely be Ironman, and it will most likely have modifiers, potentially all of them. I have considered that. Yeah, that will be the next campaign. I will be very pleased if you would join me in that campaign. Otherwise, thank you for joining along with the Subsidy Troops campaign, and God bless.